Greetings everyone. I'm a bit late to the party, I know, but I got really sidetracked. As you know, Season 3 is already upon us, finally. You can tell by the new life bar. And we finally have the changes live in-game. I want to start by saying that I really do not like the way Namco kind of handles these patch changes. They release the notes beforehand, like 4 or 5 days in advance, and they announced when the changes were coming live to the game. The patch notes were filled with mistakes and like misinputs, like they mixed 3s with 4s. Even Michael Murray, when he tweeted about the Geese nerf, he said down 2 instead of down 1. Whatever. So, like, please, Namco, please. I would either release the patch notes along with the changes themselves, because again, like, for the past few days I've been stuck in the lobbies with really no matches at all. Maybe that doesn't apply to all of you, but I was stuck in the lobby. There were no people playing. Everybody was waiting for Season 3 to come out. Everybody just like abandoned ship on Season 2 and just stopped playing, waiting for the changes. And finally, like, there is an already well-established Tekken terminology. Like, the community has crafted a perfectly well, like, no confusion way of communicating things. So when Namco like adapts half of it, it's really strange. Like, why don't you just say expanded hitbox downwards, expanded this, decrease that? They kind of use their own thing, just trying to be unique, and it's really not helping. So the way I would do this in the future, if it were up to me, of course it's not up to me, nobody's gonna listen, I would release the patch notes only when the update is already live. And I would adopt the Tekken community terminology so that we don't have these mysterious statements that we just wander about for days. So why am I making this video? I'm certainly not going to go over the changes for King and Armor King. People who are far more capable than myself can do that. I'm not the best Tekken player in the world, not even close. I have a lot of holes in my game, and if you want strategy about King or Armor King, there are fantastic YouTubers out there. And I don't assume that if you actually landed here on this video that you don't know who these guys are. So what am I here to talk about? I'm here to talk about, of course, down back 3, since it is the move that I made an entire video about 4 or 5 days ago when we got the patch notes, and we didn't really understand what the hell opponent reaction on counter hit changed, or whatever the hell they used. And in that video I was trying to make the point that I don't think, because most of the people, and rightfully so, again, assumed that down back 3 was getting the counter hit launch removed. And I was trying to make the case that I really don't think that would be fair at all, because again, the move pays the price for the launch it does on counter hit pretty heavily. It has a lot of downsides. It's linear, it's slow, it's launch punishable. So yeah, that was my point. And the thing I was theorizing is one of two. Either the patch notes are wrong, again, like with many other characters, they either mixed 3 with 4, or that was my main theory. I was actually more obsessed about the 3 and 4 thing. Or that they were actually worried because the patch notes also listed jab range increase and back 2 range increase, that the developers, while playtesting, kind of like realized that something along the lines of this, which is of course King Snake Edge, but the launch is kind of similar to the old down back 3, that something along the lines of this into jab into back 2-1 would connect. And as you can see with Snake Edge, that's not the case. But back then, when I was theorizing why the hell would they touch down back 3, my thoughts were focused on this, that something along the lines of this would connect in the new patch, and so they decided to change it. So I posted that video with those two theories, and at the time, of course, I was very convinced of my idea, of my proposition. Of course, the first comment I got was actually from J-King, which is a legendary King YouTuber. Everything good about my game, almost. I could go as far as say that it came from J-King. He's a legend. And he actually saw my video and commented. But the comment he posted, he was of the opposing opinion that no, don't try and dream that down back 3 has its counter hit still. Because he said that they are trying to take King in a new direction, they're nerfing his lows, they're making him a specialist. And of course, that comment coming from someone like J-King, who knows 10 times more about the game than I do, understands King maybe 12 times better than I do, really like put a dent in my theory. I was thinking, oh god, if J-King thinks that way, then probably counter hit down back 3 is gone. I also got other comments from people who drew my attention to the fact that I actually made mistakes in my video. The first of which was when I proposed that maybe the patch notes meant down back 4, that they wanted to remove the counter hit properties to make it more in line with Armor King. Someone drew to my attention to something, I've probably seen it but I had forgotten it, that Armor King actually has the stronger down back 4, because this stupid flip that he does actually connects, and it does more damage than King's full crouch down forward 1. So that was a mistake. I apologize for that. Again, I'm not the best King player in the world, not even close. Then someone by the name of Lead Blast proposed a different typo theory. When I was trying to find a way of like what could they possibly mean if it's not down back 3, and what came to my mind is down back 4, like I said. But he proposed an even better theory. So he said, what if the patch notes are wrong and they mean down 3? And that immediately made much more sense to me, because Armor King here, our friend, got a buff to his down 3, which is this. Huge stun, really leaves them pinned in place, although you can duck. So that really made super sense to me, that yeah, why didn't I think of that? When I was thinking of an alternative to down back 3, that the patch notes were actually wrong, I thought of down back 4, because in numerous other locations in the patch they actually mixed 3 and 4 quite a lot. But this down 3 theory made perfect sense, because Armor King got an identical change and it's not listed for King. So I was super convinced of that. I thought to myself that that's it. It's down 3. It's not down back 3. It's actually down 3. But it's not down 3. King's down 3 is still exactly the same. But then someone by the name of The Art of Frames commented, and he said that what if down back 3 is actually getting its launch changed, not removed, but changed, so just like I said. But my point was, they were going to nerf the launch to stop anything aside from while standing 2-2 from connecting. Because for some reason, because somehow in the new season, jab into down, into back 2-1 would be like a major thing. By the way, I still haven't found any meaningful way to get this to connect. It doesn't connect off of any of my bread and butters at all. So I'm sure, again, people who are far more capable than myself will try to will show us what this move can do. But so far, me, humbly, I find it like a very strange addition to King. Why did he need a new tailspin that, to me, so far, seems kind of inferior? The only way that I proposed in my previous video that maybe it would be like a middle ground between this and the forward 1 tailspin, which usually requires a lot of execution. And so far, for me, the only example I found of this, for me, again, much more capable people can do this better, but is off of this. Because so far this is easy mode, and the hard mode requires something that I might not be able to land while I'm talking, but I kind of like found something, sorry. which is this, which actually does more than this version, but less than the forward one. I kind of like expected that to apply to everything, especially hopkick, but I can't find it right now. I'm sure J King and people who, again, are far more capable than me can show us that. So I was so worried about, I was so like obsessed with this idea that they actually did all of this to stop this from connecting, and that's why they're going to nerf the launch. And the Art of Frames actually said, no, what if they're actually buffing the launch? So at the time, because I was so concentrated on this idea that they don't want this to connect, I was so convinced that this would connect. And coupled with the fact that I was so convinced of the down 3 theory, I kind of like didn't really think that that would be the case. And finally, actually when I checked his channel, I remembered I used to watch his stuff back in Tekken 6, back in the day. So yeah, of course, Art of Frames. I now remember. He's again another king legend on YouTube. So we finally have the patch notes, and let's see what we find. So the answer is yes. Down back 3 still launches, and the launch is different. And does the super easy noob friendly combo work? Yes, of course it does. So in a way, I was right, but not completely, of course. My idea was that they were trying to nerf this launch, but this launch is in no ways nerfed. This is a much better launch, actually. But my thought process was, why would they touch down back 3? Like, if they're not going to do what Majin said and make it do more damage on regular hit, why touch it? What is so wrong about down back 3 that needed changing? If you're not going to change it for the better, why change it for the worst? Whoever like proposed that, oh, King is so OP because down back 3 launches on counter hit? I don't believe that anybody ever made that argument. And I was trying to say that what my thought was that they were worried about something along the lines of, again, this into this connecting. And that's why they felt the need to change it. And that could be the case, because what I found is that now, when you try to mash that old combo out, which is similar to this, into the super tight tailspin, which I can't land while I'm talking, you'd find that you'll encounter new problems. You see these kicks that just landed there? They don't land as consistently anymore. If I could show this, you used to mash this out, but like as you can find now that they do with quite a lot more now. Again, this is not like a combo exhibition video. I am not competent enough to make those. People who are far more capable than myself can teach you these things. But what I found is, again, these kicks would whiff quite a bit. So maybe the intent was to avoid something along the lines of this from connecting. Maybe. But now that the new launch is here, what I found is it is actually much easier to crouch cancel now. If I try to crouch cancel from this, someone like me, who's not the best player in the world, doesn't get it correctly every time. And with his snake edge, see, finally I got it. With his snake edge, again, not like it's the best move in the world. It is punishable now, used not to be. You don't need to go for this route, because the wall standing 4 pickup into these still works. If you want to go for that 74 combo, you can still do it. So you're not required to crouch cancel. I don't believe crouch canceling leads to the best combos off of his snake edge when you land it every other blue moon. Outside of my ranks, of course. So for down back 3, now with its new launch, actually crouch canceling is better. Because if you don't want to go for this, which doesn't have the best wall carry, even though it's like impossible to miss, you can go for something very easy like this. and it connects very reliably. You have a billion years to crouch cancel into forward 3, whereas with this, the crouch cancel is much tighter. What I also found is that off of Snake Edge, you either pick up with this into jabs into, again, the super tight forward 1, or the other combo, which kind of like was more awkward for me to hit. Maybe it has something to do with hitboxes. Maybe Armor King isn't the best hitbox to try here. But if you do this, you could actually pick up with this while standing 1+2, and it does connect. And the overall damage is the same. So yeah, off of full crouch down forward 1, you can either pick up, which is unchanged in Season 3, you could either pick up with a while standing 4, or you could pick up with a while standing 1+2. And the combo route from there on out is identical, with the 2 kicks, 1-2, 1-2, into the forward 1 tailspin. So first note I found is that the forward 1 tailspin off of this combo, in both variations with the while standing 4 and the while standing 1+2, felt much tighter than usual to me. Like, it almost feels like a true just frame. Maybe I should go back to watch more of J King's videos, maybe he addressed it at some point. But it felt much harder to land than my other forward 1 tailspin attempts. So maybe it's a true just frame. But in addition to that, off of full crouch down forward 1, again, not like it's the most important move in the world, but if you do land it and you want to go for the super tight forward 1 tailspin, which deals usually 9 more damage than the super easy mode with while standing 2-2, you were far better off going for the while standing 4 pickup, because I found that this would whiff on me sometimes, like without an explanation. So the combo damage was in the end exactly the same. So when I did land this, again in my ranks, I used to go for the while standing 4 pickup. I never went for this. And again, the tailspin at the end is super tight. So how does this apply to down back 3 in its new state? Well, down back 3 in its new state, again, if you do the while standing 4, these kicks don't connect like reliably every time. Sometimes they whiff. So what I found is, if you do this, the kicks you could just mash out. So again, you keep just one hard part about your combo. You do this, the kicks mash out, and the only difficult part is the forward 1. So in a way, what did they do here? Like, I don't know, like down back 3 seems so far exactly the same. Until, like, again, like I said, until you take into consideration that the fact that crouch canceling is much easier now. It's so hard to miss, unless I'm talking. And because, like I said, the forward 1 tailspin, if you pick up with while standing 4 or while standing 1+2, becomes super tight. At least to me, it really feels that way. I'm kind of like convinced that it's actually so. Off of down back 3, the forward 1 tailspin, if you do the crouch cancel forward 3 method, becomes easier. And I'm going to show this now. So yeah, if you do this method, see, even while I'm talking, I'm able to land it, and it deals only 2 less damage. I believe the wall travel is maybe even superior, even if it's different, it's kind of negligibly different. So, while as before, I'm not sure about before, I believe it's like the same off of this snake edge. The forward one was super tight, so you were kind of stuck where either you go for this or you go for the super difficult combo. Right now that's kind of like not the case, because if you crouch cancel into this, even if you go for the forward one tailspin, it's not as tight and it only deals 2 less damage. In fact, I found that by utilizing the newly found crouch cancel technique, this would connect, and you would get something along the line of this. So, whereas for something like the snake edge, I don't believe that you could get this to connect. If you're going to crouch cancel, you have to again go for the crouch cancel forward 3. For down back 3 in its new state, it's actually possible to pick up with this, but again, I believe the forward 1 tailspin becomes super tight once again. So down back 3 now has a lot of different ways you could launch. So again, why did they make this change? It seemed to me back when I made that previous video that they were so worried about something like this connecting. And they don't want you to connect this into this new tailspin. And in a way that kind of felt to me like it was the case, because again, like I said, these don't connect quite as reliably. You could try it. It would whiff quite a bit. I don't know why they're connecting here. I used to whiff it. Oh, here you go. You have to like delay them a little bit, or if you want them to connect more reliably, I kind of found that a micro dash would work just well, like I'm going to show here. So yeah, even the old combo would connect if you did a tight micro dash. Jabs would connect, and the forward one is as tight as always. You'd have 2 difficult parts in your combo now, and the damage is identical to this version. So these are my findings again. I'm sure people who know King and who have better execution and more creativity than me can find more things. But so far I find this change again super weird. I haven't found a meaningful way to like connect this in any sort of way, this new thing, unless I go for like crouch cancel into these, which deals to even less damage than this. Again, how you would use this new tailspin is beyond me. I don't know. I'll be keeping an eye out for J King and the other fantastic King YouTubers out there to figure out what the hell am I supposed to do with this one outside of this down back 2 that I do. But yeah, so far it's kind of weird. I don't know why they did this change. Every single theory I proposed was kind of like busted, and you could do everything you could do before and more off of this new down back 3. Especially I'm digging this easy mode crouch cancel while standing forward 3. So yeah, down back 3 is fine. It's better than ever. And of course it sucks that we don't have Kings instead, because I believe like the old state of down back 3 was perfectly fine. I don't believe people needed more out of down back 3. So why they made this change is again beyond me. I do not know, but it is what it is. So in conclusion, my findings with the new down back 3 are old combo still connects, old easy mode combo still connects. The 74 damage combo still works, and you have, I believe, 3 ways now to connect it. You can either pick up with this, You can pick up with this and make your life super hard, or you could crouch cancel into the chest bump. So 3 ways to do 74. And I found no way for this to play any meaningful part in it to get either more or less than 74. And finally, you have a much better, much safer route in the middle to get more damage than the easy mode, and even get 72 much more consistently than you would do with either of those 3 methods. So yeah, down back 3 now, the best way I think is crouch canceling going forward. I wouldn't advise you pick up with this. I wouldn't advise you pick up with this. I would say go for the crouch cancel forward 3. You'd get only 2 less damage, and your combo would be far better off for both easy mode and difficult mode. So that's the first thing I found. Yeah, down back 3 now is like, again, you don't get less than this one. You don't get more than the forward 174 damage. At least, again, I haven't found anything new off of this. Better people can show you if that's possible. What you have is actually the middle ground, where you can either go for 67 or you could go for the 72, which was kind of supposed to be the point, I believe, off of this new tailspin. I thought this would be the point of it. Instead of people like me doing this or this, I'd find some meaningful way to get this to connect, and so far I haven't found that. Sorry, let's try that one more time. I don't know, like, it doesn't make sense to me why they would include this. So in a way, down back 3 does have a middle ground now, but it doesn't have anything more than 74 and doesn't have anything less than 65 that you have to go down for. My final thoughts before I end this video are, again, please Namco, stop doing this. If you ever listen, please stop releasing patch notes beforehand and like causing us all a lot of confusion. Find someone who speaks English in Japan. It's not difficult. Adopt the Tekken terminology from the community. Stop with these increase the lower range of the attack or whatever. Just adopt our terminology. Speak in hitboxes, speak in frames, speak the same way that we do. Please. Other people have done it. And my final thought is, yes, we didn't get Armor King's counter hit down 3. We got this new down back 3 instead. Does it change things? It changes things for people like me, but I don't believe it changes things for people at the high level. So again, this new down back 3 is still kind of like a mystery to me. What I was thinking while I was waiting for these changes to come live to check whether or not down back 3 counter hit launches anymore was maybe it's good that counter hit down back 3 doesn't launch anymore. Maybe it would be better for my game, not for someone like Majin. Like, again, Majin and people who are better than me don't use this move to begin with. But I found that, again, Majin doesn't really care about it. Like, when he lands it, he just does nothing. Maybe I should be relying on forward neutral too more, because it's faster, it does high crush, it doesn't lead to such a fantastic thing on counter hit. Of course, this is automatic, it's 53, it's unbreakable, but still, like, down back 3 for me, even with that old easy mode combo, still did more, and it did more wall travel. This kind of like switches places with the opponent. But when you're not fishing for counter hits, like, forward neutral 2 is better for you, and there's a clear reason why people like Majin use it, because this is too risky, and I should be eliminating it from my game. Like, I should be doing it off of a hard read, because hard reading with this is way too much of a gamble. But I kind of like toss it out where I'm playing. So it's not the case, but now I can have the best of both worlds. I can have the forward neutral 2 in its new buff state. It's +1 on hit. It's safer on block. I don't get launched for it. Not that I ever got launched for it. People somehow, where I play, don't know that it's punishable even at all, even when they block it. So yeah, maybe I should do that. Maybe I shouldn't be relying so much on this down back 3, even though, as I said, when it does connect, even for someone like me, it heals me more. So yeah, these are my thoughts. These are my findings. I'll be looking forward to seeing how the dust settles on the Season 3 changes. I'll be keeping an eye out for the fantastic YouTubers out there to see what they have for us. And I'll be seeing you all in the next video.